Despite its recent decline, the culture of Tumblr still lives on in various forms. The microblogging platform was once home to many niche, obscure cyber subcultures which poured onto the rest of the internet following the great Tumblr exodus of 2018. For today's tale, we'll go back to the golden age of Tumblr and look at a group so deranged and ridiculous that the drama surrounding it left behind a toxic legacy that still infests the internet to this very day. Roll intro. The definitions for fictionkin are anything but consistent, but generally speaking, a fictionkin is a person who believes, in some shape or form, that they are the reincarnation of a fictional character. Some fictionkin believe that they were the character in another life, or in an alternate universe perhaps. For others, it's a spiritual connection they feel to said character. The subculture did not originate on Tumblr, its history goes way back, but the fictionkin scene on Tumblr is quite influential. YandereB tchClub was a group of bored teenage girls on Tumblr that sought to transform fictionkin by inventing a bunch of rules regarding who gets to identify as which character, and they often enforced those rules by cyberbullying and threatening people. Their biggest concern, of course, was clueless underage kids on Tumblr who identified with anime characters that weren't the same race as them or whatever. Back then, Tumblr was quite well known for the thriving phenomenon of call-out culture, the good old "look at how much of a good person I am, this person right here is very bad and I'm laying it all out publicly." And YBC engaged in this until it turned on them. The holy grail of call-out culture was of course the infamous call-out post, usually a long rant about someone with complete evidence to suggest they did a no-no. And YBC engaged in plenty of those. So let's try to really get into it and understand what this call-out culture was all about, and also revel in some old drama, cause why not? There are 4 main users associated with YBC, and they are known as Satoko, Kitsu, Shion, and Mio. Satoko earned herself a big call-out post from her online ex, Sabak. In the call-out post, Sabak accuses Satoko of like a bazillion different things. Luckily for you, I've compiled all the evidence in a Tumblr degeneracy type beat. In chronological order, it goes like:
isolating them from friends and shaming them in their friend group, pressuring them into online sexual roleplay despite the fact they were 13, worsening their dysphoria by making them play a feminine role in set interactions, threatening to break up with them if they refuse to participate, further harassing them from other accounts, threatening to kill animals / implying she is an animal abuser, abusing 4 other people in a similar fashion, appropriating Japanese culture while claiming to be Japanese and Latina despite all evidence pointing to her being white, accusing people of faking mental disorders, saying a racial slur, fetishizing rape, being transphobic, lying about her age and faking her own suicide for attention.
So yeah, these call-out posts can get pretty intense and people love drama, so they're really into it. And soon they came for YBC's other member, Kitsu. Now Kitsu is a different beast entirely and received her own long-ass call-out post. Kitsu is a person who claims to be a lot of things, yet she's just none of those things. Her claims about herself include being mixed race Taiwanese, Japanese, Latina, and white, being defined male at birth intersex, now a trans woman, having Asperger's, and having dissociative identity disorder and multiple personalities. Now, all evidence points to her being exactly none of those things except white. She called herself white in a post on her personal Facebook account, implied she's not Japanese on multiple occasions, but it gets worse, and funnier. Kitsu also has a rich history of inappropriate at best and predatory at worst sexual conduct around preteens, while she was on the brink of turning 18. This includes whacking off in calls with them, trying to get them to do sexual stuff in said calls, sending them nudes of herself and stuff like that. And she had the balls to try and excuse that behavior by saying it's because she was sexually abused for being Asian, which again she is not.
You don't have the right. Oh, you don't have the right. And by the way, you don't even have the right.
Her claim of being defined male at birth intersex and now a trans woman quickly falls apart as her childhood photos clearly show her being a girl at a very young age, and also pretty heckin' fair-skinned, I might add. Kitsu's response to all of this? She literally sent a photo of herself with a baby doll's arm between her legs as proof that she wasn't lying about having a pee-pee. I literally couldn't have made that up if I wanted to. Here's an even worse rabbit hole within this already bad rabbit hole. In 2016, a user named PlushGod emerged on Tumblr claiming to be Kitsu from YBC. This claim is false, and the person behind the user was a woman by the name of Bianca Devins, who seems to have claimed Kitsu's identity in order to be abusive towards others. On July 14, 2019, Bianca Devins was stabbed to death by Brendan Andrew Clark, who later attempted to commit suicide, yet failed and was charged with second-degree murder. This is kind of a long and serious story, maybe I'll talk about it in more detail another time, but the bottom line is that Bianca was a seriously mentally ill minor who abused the internet as if you'd abuse drugs basically, and through the internet got in a very bizarre relationship with this psycho Brandon character who ended up murdering her. Very tragic and depressing stuff. YBC's downfall from Tumblr call-out culture spearheads to hated and excluded has-beens continued, with more call-outs being made against users associated with the group. Not much is known about the other YBC associates, Xion and Mio. The only thing we know about Xion is that she exists and was involved in some drama I'll mention in a second, and Mio is just known to, well, exist. Although she might as well just be one of Kitsu's alters or something, you can never really tell with these people. Just to show you how hated they were, a call-out post about two users known as Jaibo and Artemis Fowley literally mentions their involvement with YBC, namely Jaibo, who was Xion's ex-boyfriend, as a whole point against them among things like YBC's rule pretty much ended altogether in 2016, and the members have for the most part erased their traces to the best of their ability. Although Satoko still has an active Twitter account and now claims to be black. Nothing like a good bit of character development to wrap up a story, eh? YBC might have died, but the call-out culture that they advanced lives on and was imported over to Twitter following Tumblr's demise. Much of what we refer to as modern cancel culture is in many regards derived from this really weird part of Tumblr history. So next time you see somebody being mad at an underage anime fan online for identifying as Light Yagami or whatever, rest assured knowing that it can always be way, way worse. And now, ladies and gentlemen, some music.